Hello again, it's Jennifer with Watercolor Girlfriend. On this channel, we love to take 30 minutes of our day, especially when things are hectic, and do a little watercolor painting, maybe some ink sketching, get you away from your head, get you outside your head and away from the pressures of your busy day. And usually they're about 30 minutes. Today we're going to continue on. We've been painting some some stuff that we took pictures of before when we were either on vacation or things when we were visiting family that we wanted to watercolor paint or ink draw, do some sketching and some painting, but we just didn't have time, or maybe we didn't have the energy because we've been doing all sorts of fun vacation-y stuff. So, you were working on your pictures wherever my phone might be. You took some pictures of it, and then later on when you finally have some time at home and you've got 30 minutes, you want to escape a busy day, you take those out and you can build on those. And I think it's a super fun way to explore those paintings that you wanted to do and didn't get a chance to. A lot of people say, oh, it's not as good as if you don't do it from real life, but it can't always work that way. And you still want to capture some of those really fun moments, right, that you had on your vacation or your special trip and you just didn't get a chance. And that's totally fair. So today we're going to do a landscape, and like I showed you, I don't know what the lighting is doing in here. You can see I'm not in my usual space. I've been traveling as well. So I did my best. I hope it works for you, where I've got some squirrely lighting and some blinds, putting them up and down, and then the next video I do, it's the same lighting but looks completely different. I don't know. I hope you enjoy what we have done here. Again, I try to stay within about 30 minutes so you can have it even as a break, a lunch break, or just a little getaway in the afternoon where you can paint something you really enjoy. And this is a landscape painting with some water and all sorts of different kind of foliage. And I'll pop in and give it a little chat while you do some painting as well. Maybe you want to get some of your supplies together, or you've got some already, or pause this and get some stuff together. You can use an ink pen. I think I've been talking about wherever my pen went. I bought a pen. Can't remember what it is. I keep doing that. But I love to use a roller ball. I find they work fantastic on any kind of paint. On any kind of paper. If it's smooth or rough, it works just great. You can also use a Sharpie. Sharpies are fantastic. Those extra fine ones. They dry super fast, they're waterproof, and you can paint right over them right away. And you probably have one in your drawer. You don't have to, try not to wrap your head around the fact that you need all these amazing things in order to start painting or start drawing, or both. You just need a couple of things. And this sketch pad, this sketchbook is 110 weight, and then I love going up from there up to 140. But if you've got 90, just go for it. Don't stress over the fact that you don't have the perfect supplies. It's most important that you go out, capture some fun things that you love to paint or draw or look at during the day, and just have a good time and enjoy yourself. So, no further ado, we'll be looking at some stuff here as we go forward about that painting. You can watch me paint that, and I'll pop in and chat a little bit about it as we go. Thanks. Enjoy. Okay, so we're just going to start with a quick pencil outline sketch so I can kind of feel the composition of where I want things to be in relation to the other things in the painting. And as you can see, it was just a quickie, and now I'm getting started with some ink sketching. And as you can see as well, I'm using some of my favorite roller balls by Pilot. Now this one I don't know, I can't even remember if I've if I've lost there's a watercolor, there's a waterproof version, and I absolutely love it. And if you aren't using that kind, you're going to want to let your ink drawing dry after you've sketched it in, just so you don't bleed. You know, if you like that look, that's fine, but you probably want to let it dry before you do some of the watercolor painting on top of that. And you can try all sorts of different inks, all sorts of different pens, and see what you think. Like, do a little sketch sample so that you can see what pens you like and what ink pens will give you the results you're looking for. And I'm just gonna let you enjoy watching me paint, or excuse me, watching me sketch this for a little bit. And I hope you'll take a little time and sketch along with me, or just enjoy. So you see, I like to erase some of the pencil marks, and I'm sorry, my phone cut out, my camera, and you saw that little image pop up, so that's masking fluid, and you can see I put some in the water, and I actually might not be able to see that as well. I put some in the sky, and you can just kind of randomly use that to create like white areas, and you'll see how it turns out at the end. It's so fun. I really enjoy using it. So here I'm using some green watercolor, right? And some of my favorites that I enjoy using are like a leaf green, a phthalo green, a viridian green, and a sap green. I really love sap green. That's very green to me. It's very grass green. And you want to mix them to give you that feel instead of kind of the primary green color, and to give you a richer and a deeper look to your shrubbery that you can see there, some of the hedges and some of the green overgrowth. And then I like to apply it all over. I don't usually work in one little section at a time. I kind of take a color that I like and then I put it in lots of areas that I want it to be in, if that makes sense. I'm just filling in, using up all that green that I've mixed. And now I like to add some lighter green and some yellows mixed together. You want to give it some, lots of different colors in your hedges and in your plants, and it allows it to, create some, not only some richness, but variety. Because you look out the window and you look at some shrubs or some hedges near your house, and they're not all one color, and depending on the time of the year, things are going to change. This gives it some interest, and you can make a lot of different colors from just the greens and the yellows. Adding some to the old palm trees there. As we move forward with the buildings, I kind of just chose colors that I like and I thought would kind of pop off the painting, off the page. And in the tropics, they use a lot of fun colors on their buildings and houses, so you really can't go wrong choosing some of these fun colors. And some of them I just use right out of the tube. I just use it right out of that palette, and some of it, like you can see here, I mix it up so that I find a color that I like, and then I try it over there on my piece of paper, which is a bit that I didn't like, or that I was practicing on, or I just had left over, and then I can see what the color looks like, and I can get rid of some of the paint. You can see how muddy my water looks already, and if you wipe it off on a piece of paper over there on the side, you can get rid of some of that, so your water lasts clearer a little bit longer. I'm just going to let you enjoy as I paint here for a little while, and I'm just having fun and trying different stuff that I enjoy. Maybe something I've already done, in the past. But I'm just going to let you enjoy and listen to some music while you watch me paint. Have fun. Okay, so you can see the frisket, which we used to call it, or the masking fluid, kind of repelling the blue that I'm using. And that's, that's going to keep it a nice white and keep that shape. I think it's just really a fun, I guess, media tool to use in your watercolor bag. And we'll let that all dry, of course, before we take that off. But I also will do it shortly after I'm done with the painting. If the longer you leave it, the harder it is to remove, and it could start to tear your paper or not come off at all and as well as you'd like anyway. So how are you spending your day today? Are you enjoying this as a nice break? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I know you're out there watching these fun paintings, and I hope you're getting inspired to do some paintings yourself. I was having a busy day as well. I do a lot of video and a lot of content writing. Hey, there I am. I'm looking at some of my greens and my blues, and I wanted to show you that I'd chosen these cool blue colors like phthalo blue and ultramarine. I love that blue. And this is kind of how I keep all my paints together, and I'm traveling right now, so that's a nice little box that I can carry them all in. Okay, so I think it really came together nicely. It's pretty fun. And I'm gonna use this hair dryer so that I make sure, especially that the blue water area is good and dry. I don't want to drag my hand across the masking fluid if the blues, wherever I put that, is still moist and wet. It'll make a nice mess. So I make sure to keep a hair dryer nearby and, you know, plugged in and ready to go. So you'll see it dries really quick with this method, and I actually use a bunch of heat. But not too much. You don't want that masking fluid to become permanent on your page, right? So just give it a blast, maybe even a minute, and you can kind of tilt your painting to see if it's fully dry. And there I go, just taking off the masking fluid. You can see it's kind of like, you know, rubber cement, but not quite. You could try rubber cement if you have it around. This tends to come up a little easier, and you know, but you could certainly give it a try. And I actually bought mine at the local art supply store just in case I read about some people having trouble with the ones they order online and how they are turning out to be kind of junky. So in case it was not up to speed, I wanted to make sure I could take it back. But it turned out fine. And you want to make sure you use a junky old brush and then kind of clean that every time you use it, because it will, you know, start to ruin that. You can get cheap brushes. You could use even a cotton swab, and then, you know, as that's all mucked up, you can just toss it. And there you go. It gives a nice appearance, and it's something kind of unique. So people might wonder, how did you get that area to be so white? And you can just tell them it's magic. It's watercolor painting magic. So that it comes out, see how nice and easy it comes up? And I just collect it in a little tin and toss it a little later. And there you go. I don't always want to interrupt, but you know, it's fun to watch while the music plays. But I did want to pipe in here a little bit, and just, if you're not familiar with painting landscapes, or, you know, even landscapes with some buildings in it, I'm adding some final touches after that with some shadow work and just giving some of the colors a little better brightness, so they stand out a little more against the green and don't all blend in like it's one tone, you know. I got some shadow color over the side there, so I'm just kind of, I was kind of scrubbing that off, which is fine. And then you can see that I used a clean white cloth, or a dirty white cloth as mine is, just to kind of soak up some of that water and give it a nicer look. Than as it pools, it can also start to look a little muddy. And you know, there was a sunset, and look, see, getting some off the edge there. It comes off pretty easily if you ever get some that goes over the edge. It's not that hard to get rid of it as you're working on it. As it sits there longer, it will, you know, become more permanent and even kind of dye the paper. So if I haven't mentioned it, I love to hear from you guys, and I know you're out there watching the paintings and hopefully doing some of them as well. And I'd love to have some of you comment and let me know how it worked for you, if you enjoyed watching the painting process, if you've gone out and done some landscape paintings for yourself, or if you're working from photos, are you, exploring different kinds of painting, watercolors, acrylics. So you can see that I wanted to, I wanted you to see that. So this is a cheaper paper than 110 or 140. So maybe even rewind back and you can see how it starts to pill and come apart. It's just not a thick, really fancy paper. So you got to kind of prepare for that and, either let it go and just be like, well, whatever. Or, save up or spring for the fancier papers. Adding in a little bit of ink work after I have done the water portion so that it doesn't bleed beforehand, right? And if something is wet while you're drawing, like I have here, see, it starts to kind of bleed. And that's just something to be aware of. And as you practice and do stuff more often with both ink and watercolor, you'll get a feel for how it shows up. And this is the Pilot K-A-K-U umlaut N-O. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, please give me some tips. Kakuno, that's probably more accurate. And anyway, it's a Pilot ink pen. I wanted to try a fountain pen, and this is something was recommended as a nice starter to see how you like them. And I can't say I love it. Actually, it's a very fine tip, so it works nicely on a smooth paper. This is smooth but does have a little bit of texture. And like I said, it's about 110, so it kind of drags a little, the pen does. I might get something that's got a thicker nib. I don't know if I'm going to try it again. I love the Pilot rollerball, so it's hard to beat that. Oh. All right, if you loved what you saw here today, subscribe and like, you know the drill. And when you do that, it shares the video so other people can enjoy it too, and it starts spreading it around. So please do that before you head out, and we will see you next time. Thanks again. Happy painting.